The silence is the first thing that hits you. It isn't a peaceful silence. It's heavy. You wake up at 5:59 a.m. because your internal clock is hardwired to beat the traffic. Your body's pumping adrenaline for a fight that isn't happening. You reach for the alarm out of habit, but you didn't set it. Why would you? You don't have anywhere to be.
Nobody calls, no emails ping. The machinery of the economy has decided it doesn't need your gear to turn today. And you're lying there, staring at the ceiling fan, realizing that the endless vacation everyone congratulated you about feels a hell of a lot like a waiting room.
You've been retired for what, 6 months? A year? And you're starting to realize they lied to you. They gave you the cake and the handshake, but they didn't give you the instruction manual for the void that comes after. You were facing the Sunday night blues, but it's Tuesday morning. You're learning 5 very hard lessons right now. We're going to talk about the money panic. Oh yeah, I know you're sweating looking at that bank account. But first, we have to talk about the trap you walked right into because you were terrified of being bored.
Lesson number 1. You tried to replace your job with another job that pays you $0.
You felt useless. That's the word gnawing at your gut. Useless. You spent decades being the guy who fixes things. People needed you. Now the only thing that needs you is the dog. So you panicked. You sought relevance. You signed up for the HOA board. You volunteered to run the books for the club. You filled your calendar with obligations because your brain thinks busy equals valuable.
Here's the reality check, pal. You didn't grind for 40 years just to work for free for people who are even more annoying than your old middle manager. At least your old boss paid you to listen to his nonsense. These people feel entitled to your time just because they know you have it. They see a retired guy and they see free labor.
If you're volunteering and it feels like a job, if you dread going, if it stresses you out, quit. Do it today. You have to learn the power of the word no. It is a complete sentence. Your time isn't infinite anymore. Strictly speaking, the sand is running out of the hourglass faster than ever. Stop giving those grains of sand to people who just want a warm body. If it doesn't feed your soul, do not feed it your hours.
And speaking of people who feel entitled to your time, we need to have a very serious, very dangerous conversation about the person you live with. Because lesson number 2 might just keep you out of divorce court.
You are the intruder. Get that through your head. For the last 30 years, your spouse had a system. From 8 to 5, the house was their domain. They had silence. They had routine. They watched their shows without judgment. They ate lunch standing over the sink if they wanted to.
Now, you're there all day. You're breathing loud on the couch. You're wandering into the kitchen asking, what's for lunch at 10:15 in the morning like a lost child. You're reorganizing the dishwasher because you think you know better. You aren't helping. You're a pest. You are the wrench in the gears of a machine that was running perfectly fine without you.
I call it the underfoot factor. You have disrupted a delicate ecosystem. You need to find your own territory. Get out of the house. Go to the library. Go sit on a park bench. Convert the shed into a bunker. I don't care where you go, but you cannot spend 24 hours a day within 10 feet of your spouse. You both need air. If you don't figure this out, the golden years are going to be filled with icy silence.
And getting out of the house brings us to lesson 3. The most dangerous thing in your life right now isn't the government. It's your furniture.
You used to move. You didn't think about it, but you did. You walked from the parking lot, you walked to meetings, you had structure that forced you to be vertical. Now, you can sit in that recliner for 6 hours straight and not even realize the sun went down. And your body knows it. It's taking notes.
You feel the rust setting in, don't you? The stiffness in the morning, the brain fog. You tell yourself you'll start exercising tomorrow, but you don't have a schedule anymore, so tomorrow never actually arrives. It's just an endless string of todays where you sit still.
You have to treat movement like medication now. If you don't take it, you decay. It's that blunt. You don't need to train for a marathon. You just need to walk. Get the blood moving from your legs to your brain before it turns to cement. The chair is a coffin. Every hour you spend in it is a shovel full of dirt. And stop eating like you're still stress eating at the office. Your metabolism retired 5 years before you did. You used to burn calories just by being anxious. Now you're calm and those calories are sticking to your ribs. Eat a real breakfast. Stop snacking on cookies at 2 p.m. just because you're bored. All right, let's talk about the ghost in the room. Lesson 4. The money. You spent 40 years in save mode. You were a squirrel hoarding nuts for a winter that seemed far away. You sacrificed. Well, guess what? It's snowing. Winter is here. But you can't bring yourself to eat the nuts, can you? You're paralyzed. You've spent so long watching that number go up that the idea of watching it go down makes you physically ill. You think if you spend $50 on a nice steak dinner, the market will crash and you'll be destitute by next Tuesday. You're suffering from accumulation paralysis. You have to switch your brain to decumulation, and it's terrifying. It goes against every instinct you have. But listen to me, you aren't getting any younger. Your knees have an expiration date. Your back has an expiration date. You keep saying, we'll travel later. When is later? When you need a walker to get through airport security? When you can't handle a 3-hour flight? You have to spend some of the money now on things that matter. It doesn't have to be a 5-star European cruise. It just has to be away. I bought a cheap camper. Best money I ever spent. I realized that if I die with the highest score in my bank account, I didn't win the game, I lost. The money is a tool for life, not a security blanket to keep you warm in the grave. But the hardest lesson, the one that keeps you staring at that ceiling fan at 2 a.m., that's lesson 5, identity. Who are you? If I take away your business card, if I strip away the title of manager or foreman, what's left? You meet new people and they ask, what do you do? And you stumble. You talk about the past. You're living in the past tense. I used to be important. Stop it. Nobody cares what you used to do. You aren't who you were. You are who you are right now. And if you don't know who that is, figuring that out is your new full-time job. You have to rebuild yourself from scratch. It's messy. It feels silly. Maybe you become a guy who cooks. Maybe you take up photography. Maybe you get one of those electric bikes. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's not defined by a paycheck. You have to find worth in things that nobody pays you for. And honestly, that's harder than any job you ever had, because there's no performance review. There's just you looking in the mirror, deciding if you're enough. The first year is a detox. It's painful. You're weaning yourself off the adrenaline of the grind. You'll feel guilty for sitting still. You'll panic about the silence. But eventually, if you let it, the noise stops. You realize the world didn't end just because you clocked out. You realize that for the first time since you were 5 years old, your time actually belongs to you. So stop checking the email that doesn't exist. Smash the alarm clock. Stop waiting for permission to live your life. You made it out alive. You won. Now go figure out what the hell you're supposed to do with the prize.